Hi friends, welcome you all. In today's lecture, I will teach you the fundamentals of COVID-19 testing. So what exactly we do in testing of coronavirus, whether it is positive in individuals or whether it is negative, and what is the science behind testing of corona. Today we are going to deal with that. So welcome to my lectures. So I am Dushyant Reddy, here to present you the fundamental aspects of science in COVID-19 testing. So let us go into the basic aspects of the lecture. The virus which you are seeing on the board is of COVID-19. It is also called as nCoV, that is novel coronavirus. Sometimes you call it as SARS-2 because it is a congener of a SARS, because there is a nearest neighbor, that is MERS. So these are phylogenetically similar. What do you mean by phylogenetically? Because the gene mapping of all the three viruses, that is novel coronavirus, severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, Middle East respiratory syndrome virus, they are genetically very nearer to each other. This is the fundamental information you need to know before going into the lectures. And this is a pandemic which the world is affecting. So let us not bother the basic concepts of epidemiological terms. Let us go into deep into the science. So before starting the lecture, so the testing protocol is of two types. So whether you are testing the antigen or whether you are testing the antibody. So if you are going to test the antigen, the testing methodology is called RT-PCR. If you are testing the antibody, it is again a rapid antibody based test or an ELISA based test. So this is the fundamental information you need to know before going into the basic information. So when you are supposed to test RT-PCR and when you are supposed to test rapid antibody or ELISA, this is a very big fundamental question, because the RT-PCR experiments are generally time consuming and costly. Suppose if you take the cost of the one sample, it goes around 4,500 rupees and it takes 8 to 10 hours to complete one method. Whereas if you take a rapid antibody based test, a best kit can provide you the results in 30 minutes and even less than 30 minutes. Okay, even less than 30 minutes. If you go for ELISA, the better kits may provide you the results even in 20 to 30 minutes. This is a fundamental information which you will get from the the science of chromatography. So let us see what exactly we are going to do with RT-PCR. So why we are calling it as RT-PCR, why we are not calling with PCR. And again, the coronavirus genome, the genome is the single stranded RNA. So this is the fundamental information you need to know before starting the science behind the RT-PCR. So let us see what exactly we are going to do in RT-PCR. So here we are focusing on the genome aspect, that is single stranded RNA in RT-PCR. So this virus is virulent, that means it is pathogenic in nature, which can cause the viral infection in any subject, either it is an animal or human subject. Now to perform testing, we need to convert the virulent form into an avirulent form. That how to convert a virulent form to avirulent is either give heat, and for your kind information I am telling you that the virus is even susceptible at more than 70 degrees centigrade. So at least you need 90 to 100 degrees centigrade to completely destroy the coronavirus. Heat, or you can even go for chemical treatment. The chemical treatment is either with phenol or formaldehyde, or there are several other chemical aspects to use it. So in doing so, what happens? There is a rupture of all the protein components. So generally it has spike proteins. These are all spike proteins. The spike proteins, nucleocapsid, M proteins, everything get disrupted both by thermal or by chemical methods, and you have a single stranded RNA for your analysis. So this is a detailed protocol is there how to do that. So I am not going into the fundamental aspects. Now we are here with avirulent single stranded DNA for analysis. So let us see how we are performing the RT-PCR method with a single stranded RNA. So the viral genome after purification, so the viral genome is a single stranded RNA. So this is your single stranded RNA. This is the Lacoporon model of expression of your genes. Then in the RT-PCR, what do you mean by RT-PCR is real-time polymerase chain reaction or reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. What do you mean by reverse transcription? First thing, let us see what is transcription. Transcription is conversion of DNA to RNA, and if you are converting RNA to proteins, then it is called as translation. So these are all the fundamental aspects in your biochemistry. Now what exactly we are doing is, the viral genome is RNA, so we are converting the RNA into DNA. Such conversions are called as reverse transcription. This is the fundamental information you need to know before going into the science of chromatography. Now once you reverse transcribe, you amplify. What do you mean by amplification is multiplication of the DNA so that you identify the genome RNA indirectly with respect to your DNA. This type of technique is called as RT-PCR technique. So let us go into the deeper parts of RT-PCR. So here you have a viral genome, that is single stranded RNA. To this you add DTNPs. What do you mean by DTNPs? These are nucleotides. These are of again two types. One is your forward primer, the other one is reverse primers. Okay, first one. Second thing is you add the DNA polymerase, that is your enzyme. And the third one is very important one is your fluorophore. Here the fluorophore is a gene specific to your viral RNA, so that it is a gene specific to your viral RNA which is tagged with a fluorescent chemical, which is in the vicinity you have a quencher. So this is the fundamental information of your fluorophore, where we call it as Tachman probe. So what happens is the fluorophore will not exhibit any fluorescence. What do you mean by fluorescence is the ability to express light without any trigger, that is called fluorophore. Now you are inhibiting the fluorescence by the quencher. So these are all the basic parameters you start before doing any RT-PCR. So what happens exactly once you start the PCR? Your RNA, your what do you say, the DTNP, that is reverse transcriptase primers, bind to the RNA. Once the reverse transcriptase primers bind to RNA, you have the DNA polymerase binding to your RNA. Now your DNA polymerase is binding. Now what happens? This DNA polymerase elongates to the complete gene sequence. So this step is called as chain elongation. Once you complete the chain elongation, you raise the temperature to 85 to 95 degrees centigrade. Once you raise the temperature, what happens? The strand separates. So what happens? The DNA strands separates from RNA. So this DNA strand separates from RNA. Again, you cool back the temperature to 35 degrees centigrade or 25 to 35, that is room temperature. What happens? Again the primers bind to your RNA as well as your DNA. Now the primers, that may be forward primer or reverse primer, that is if it is over 3' end, it is reverse primer. If it is at 5' end, it is a forward primer. So that depends sometimes how you note it. Now here come the picture of Tachman probe. The Tachman probe is a sequence which is specific to your corona, that is COVID genome, comes and bind to the genome of your RNA, that is your corona genome, which is tagged with your fluorophore along with quencher. Okay. Now this fluorophore is not exhibiting any fluorescence because you have a quencher in its vicinity. Now once your DNA polymerase binds to the genome, now once it elongates towards the entire chain of your RNA genome, what happens is, due to the endonuclease activity of your DNA polymerase, it cleaves the fluorophore. Once the fluorophore is cleaved, it is free from the quencher, so it exhibits fluorescence. So the Tachman probe is designed in such a way that it binds to specific genome of RNA as well as specific genome of transcribed DNA, thereby increasing the fluorescence intensity, thereby giving the positive results of your RT-PCR. This is the fundamental information of your fluorescence spectroscopy of your polymerase chain reaction. So this is where you identify antigen. So why we need to test antigen, and is it necessary to do PCR for every individual? See, in a population like India, where we have 1.5 billions of population, we cannot sample every individual, as well as we need not even sample every individual by PCR. First thing is, you need to separate the individuals into two types. One is symptomatic individuals. Second one is asymptomatic individuals. So in the symptomatic individuals who have symptoms, what are the symptoms? You have a dry cough, you have a fever, you have some there are some symptoms which exhibit your COVID-19 symptoms in your body, such patients who are symptomatic, these symptomatic patients should be tested for RT-PCR, and the asymptomatic patients who do not have any symptoms are preliminarily should be tested for antibodies. Later on, if found positive, you should be tested again for RT-PCR for cross confirmation. So you should know that in COVID-19 testing, the RT-PCR is the gold standard technique for analysis, whereas your antibody is the preliminary test. So let us see the antibody based test. So in the antibody based test, it's very simple. So you have a plate. This plate is divided into two halves. One is your sample, where you place your sampling zone. Next one is your control zone. And in the sampling zone, you have anti-IgG and anti-IgM antibodies. Anti-IgG and anti-IgM. Okay, these are already present in the sample cell. You need not to do anything. In the sampling zone, you have the spike protein of your COVID-19, which is already present in the sampling zone. And in the control zone, you have anti-mouse antibody. In the control zone, you have anti-mouse antibody. Now what happens? These anti-IgG and anti-IgM antibodies are gold coated. So this you need to know. These are gold coated. Now once you collect sample from any individual person, if an individual who is recently affected with COVID-19, he exhibits only IgM antibodies in the initial stage. So suppose the person is affected with COVID-19 recently. Now I will transfer the whole blood into the sampling zone along with buffer. So the buffer, what buffer will do is, due to capillary action, it takes the sample, that is whole blood. Now if you are having IgM antibodies, these IgM will react with anti-IgM antibodies to form IgM complex. That is IgM present in the human and anti-IgM antibodies, and they form immune complex reaction. Now this immune complex along with the buffer, it will move up and it will interact with your spike protein and give a positive result. And whatever the IgM and IgG, that is anti-IgM and IgG antibodies present in the sample cell, move along with the buffer and go into the control zone and react with anti-mouse antibodies and give you a positive control. So by this result, you can identify that the patient is recently infected with IgM antibodies. Now you have one doubt, where come these spike proteins are generated? These spike proteins are monoclonal antibodies. These are genetically engineered from mouse, rat, rabbit or horse. So this is a fundamental information. Suppose if you have positive for IgG also, that means the patient is in recovery stage. Suppose if you have only IgG but you do not have IgM, that means the patient is completely recovered. So this is the fundamental information of how to identify the COVID-19 infection antibodies. So there is one more methodology of testing of COVID-19. That methodology is based upon ELISA method, that is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. In this, what generally done is, you have a well plate where you coat with antigen. This antigen is again monoclonally generated spike protein from mouse or rat or rabbit or horse. Now you add whole blood of a patient. Suppose the whole blood is having IgM or IgG antibodies specific to COVID-19. These go and bind to this, your antigen. You form an immune complex. Later on, again, I will add an enzyme which is specific to the antibodies. This enzyme will bind to this antibody and form enzyme complex reaction. So later on I will add substrate. This substrate will bind only to the enzyme. That means this indicates that presence of antibody in the human blood. So again the patient is considered as positive for results. So since this kind of ELISA is called as an indirect ELISA, whereas rapid antibody test and indirect ELISA test test only for antibodies, whereas the RT-PCR test for antigen. So this is a fundamental information of the science of testing of COVID-19. Hope you understand. If you like, subscribe and share the lectures. Thank you.